Good morning, everyone. A Michigan nonprofit is taking an unusual approach to help people who were formerly behind bars by offering them a chance to learn about farming. The group and its farm is run by someone who knows firsthand how difficult it can be to break the cycle of incarceration. For the CBS series, A More Perfect Union on What Unites Americans, Nancy Chan shows us how he is planting seeds of change.
I love to saute it.
Yeah. It's harvest season once again for Melvin Parson. But here on his half-acre farm in Ypsilanti, Michigan, Parson isn't just growing kale and tomatoes, he's also growing opportunity. These are Parson's interns, taking pride in the fruits of their labor.
Then I put the stuff over there in the compost.
Not just because of the seeds planted here, but in their own lives. They're among a handful of formerly incarcerated people working on the We the People Opportunity Farm, a nonprofit Parson founded in 2018.
Did you know anything about farming before you started this?
No, I couldn't even spell vegetable.
The farm partners with county agencies like the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office to hire people returning from incarceration for 9 months.
We're growing a lot of kale.
Parson's mission, to break the cycle of incarceration by providing structure, a steady paycheck, and a community often missing for those re-entering society.
I spent 13 years of my life incarcerated, and I've been homeless 3 times and battled substance abuse. And I felt what having my hands in the soil did to me internally, and maybe, just maybe, I can offer up something like this to folks coming home.
As many as 27% of formerly incarcerated Americans are out of work, according to the Prison Policy Initiative. It's why interns here are also coached on career building and financial literacy. This year, Parson brought on 4 participants. Pony Bush has been in and out of prison for 30 years.
What's been the most surprising part about all of this?
Probably one seed make a lot of stuff grow. One seed make a big plant.
The vegetables, all grown organically and with the help of experienced farmhands, are sold to some of the area's most popular restaurants.
These 2 boxes are yours. How y'all doing?
They're right here.
Thank you.
A portion is also donated to the community. Parson estimates this year's crop totaled 14,000 pounds, and he wants to keep growing.
One of your mission statements is to change the soil of the people that are here. What does that mean?
You can be a farmer that doesn't know what they're doing like I was and still am in a lot of ways. But if your soil is good, chances are your plants will flourish. And it dawned on me that the same thing applies to human beings.
Incarcerated when she was 17, LaWanda Hollister was released after serving 34 years in prison. Now 52, the world has changed.
You came home in May of 2020. What was that like?
Pandemic was still going on. I was simply grateful to be home and for the second chance, but where do I go from there?
Today, Hollister is harvesting kale. On other days, you'll find her at Eastern Michigan University. She hopes to start her own food truck business one day.
There's a lot of life lessons in farming. It's about taking care of a plant. It's about watering it. It's about nurturing it. It's about pruning it.
When you look at all of this, what do you see?
I see magic. I see hope. I see the audacity to dream. I see a future.
I'm Nancy Chen in Ypsilanti, Michigan.
As hard as farmers and producers work, it is estimated that about 40% of all food in the U.S. ends up in a landfill. Now a California distillery is turning that would-be waste into cocktails. Nichelle Medina has more on the sustainable spirit.
Whit Regali never expected to be making vodka, let alone helping ease the nation's food waste problem.
For the most part, anything in a grocery store bakery aisle, we can turn to vodka.
In 2017, Regali, a bartender, and his partner Samuel Shareskin, an agricultural economist, had an idea some considered half-baked: take old bread products and turn them into vodka.
Baked goods is just a resource like anything else. It's made from starches and sugars, which are the building blocks to making all alcohol. And so that was really our light bulb moment.
The company, called Misadventure Vodka, gets a load of more than 1,000 pounds of bread products from a San Diego food bank. Most items are past their expiration date, but still usable. Each bottle of vodka produced keeps about 2 pounds of food out of a landfill. The concept is part of a growing trend called upcycling, transforming food waste into ingredients for new products. Rise Flour, a New York-based company, created a flour crafted from beer. Toast Ale is brewed with surplus bread that would otherwise be tossed out. Misadventure Vodka claims to be the first carbon-negative spirit in the world.
With our process, some of the vanilla extracts come through, and so there's a subtle sweet note with that vanilla.
That taste is served up in cocktails at the company's tasting room. Customer Walt McCalma says the brand offers a unique flavor.
This gives a whole new meaning to drinking responsibly.
That's a really good way to put it. I feel good about drinking it. I feel like I'm doing it, being a steward to the environment.
Misadventure mostly sells online, but is hoping to expand the operation and help change the planet one sip at a time. Nichelle Medina, CBS News, Vista, California.
For many people, the best part of waking up is coffee. Worldwide, we drink more than 600 billion cups every year. To make sure it never runs out, scientists in Finland are shaking up the industry in the lab. Ian Lee has that story from London.
For many folks, the day starts here, getting that coffee hit to get going. While the beans traditionally come from tropical regions, scientists in Nordic Finland are generating Java in the lab.
We skip the farming part and we use plant cell cultures instead.
Researchers are using cellular agriculture to create coffee cells, which are transferred to bioreactors to produce biomass. In layman's terms, they're using science to make beanless brews they say smell and taste almost like coffee.
Not like, of course, 100%. It tastes a combination of different types of coffees.
It's an everyday cup of joe alternative as climate change threatens coffee plants around the globe.
Increasing temperatures, but also more erratic rainfall and increased drought.
Scientists say lab-grown coffee doesn't need pesticides or fertilizers and reduces greenhouse gas emissions as well.
You can cut on the transport requirements because you can locally produce.
Researchers are looking to get regulatory approval so people can start sipping lab lattes within the next few years. Ian Lee, CBS News.
Coming up, from the fields to the market and in between, beef cattle make a lot of methane. What that means to the environment, coming up next on Mid Morning. All right, welcome back, everyone. There is an apparent beef with cattle and their role in warming the planet. Methane is the problem, and the world's 1.4 billion cows produce a lot of it, 40% of total global methane emissions. Mark Phillips traveled to Scotland in search of a solution.
Cattle graze on the lush green pastures of Scotland. The environmentalists will tell you that when it comes to global warming, meat, and especially beef, is among the worst foods we can eat. That the methane cows belch out while turning feed into food is a far more powerful greenhouse gas than even the carbon dioxide produced by burning fossil fuels. But here at this experimental farm run by Scotland's Rural College, they think they found a way to change that. Because it turns out one cow is not like another.
Did it surprise you? You looked at one cow and you thought, holy cow.
Yeah.
This cow, this stomach content is a lot different than in this cow than it is in that cow.
There's a huge variation in the stomach.
It's all about the stomach. Well, stomachs. Cows have 4 of them.
We are putting them...
Rainer Roa has been studying the digestive process in cows, and he's found that the microbes in their stomachs not only vary from cow to cow, but they determine how much methane the cow produces. A brief lesson on bovine biology is useful here. Cows don't actually digest what they eat. The bugs in their gut do. Their food mixes with a kind of microbe soup in the rumen, or first stomach, and is then re-chewed before passing through the rest of the system. And Rainer Roe's work shows that genetics can predict which animals will have the right microbe cocktail to produce the least methane. In other words, you can breed low methane producing cattle.
So you can select. You can say, you know, that cow, that bull,
yeah,
they've got good stomach stuff.
Yes.
You can put them together and make another cow with the same stomach stuff.
Yes.
How much less?
We are predicting that we are reducing methane by 50%.
50%?
Yes.
How do they know? They measure it. They put cows in hermetically sealed chambers for 3 days and analyze the gases they belch out. And there's another benefit. Producing methane is actually a waste of energy for a cow. The less they produce, the more efficient they are at turning cattle feed into human food. Win-win. Still, a 50% reduction in greenhouse gas production is not the same as a 100% reduction, which is what we would get if we just stopped eating the stuff. A recent study at Oxford University has shown that, judged against the nutrition it provides, beef is simply too environmentally expensive. But let's go back to that bucolic scene of those cows grazing on those highland pastures. Cattle grazing is arguably the most efficient food-producing use to which these fields can be put, because nothing much will grow here other than grass, and there are lots of other areas of the world like that. As with so much of the environmental argument, there's a lot to chew over. Mark Phillips, CBS News, Scotland.
All right, when we come back, the chance to see it before it disappears, that is next. What it means on Mid-Morning. All right, we're back. This is called last chance tourism, seeing places that are being dramatically altered by global warming. Forbes said it was one of the top trends in travel before the pandemic, but it is also having its own impact on the environment. Ben Tracy traveled to Iceland, one of the many locations around the world, seeing an increase in visitors.
It's crazy. This country is beautiful.
In this lagoon on the southern coast of Iceland, giant chunks of ice, once part of a massive glacier, gently float away into the North Atlantic Ocean.
It's definitely sad, but it's very grateful to be able to, look at this stuff while I still can.
We ran into Sharad Sivamani from New York. He brought his parents here to see this frozen beauty.
We wanted to get a chance to look at it before, some of it melts away, but it's absolutely striking.
In recent years, the trio has visited Patagonia and a desert in Bolivia. Both are threatened by climate change.
Have you actually heard that phrase?
Although Sharad hadn't heard the term last chance tourism.
And it sounds like that's what you've been doing.
That's the rationale, for sure. It's really kind of sad if you put it that way, but I guess that's what we're doing. Like, while we still can, while it's still here, go and take a look.
A lot of people are now rushing to places such as the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, rapidly dying from coral bleaching, the shrinking Dead Sea in Israel, and the melting ice cap of Mount Kilimanjaro. After a 92% increase in tourism on the Galapagos Islands off Ecuador, the United Nations now says tourism itself is one of the main threats to the island's habitat.
It is a challenge that we need to fix.
Iceland's Minister of the Environment says tourism in his country was booming before COVID, increasing nearly 40% in some years, topping 2 million annual visitors, which is more than 4 times the population of the entire country.
Iceland is a beautiful country, and we also have a responsibility to protect our nature.
There is no getting around the fact that all those people coming to Iceland are actually making the climate issue worse by flying.
I absolutely agree with you. We are an island in the middle of the North Atlantic, and most of the people come with airplanes.
Mile for mile, air travel is the most damaging form of transportation for the planet. Just one round-trip transatlantic flight emits twice as much planet-warming carbon dioxide emissions per person as driving the family car for an entire year.
If people are coming here because they want to see something that is disappearing, it is our responsibility to tell people why and what they can do to prevent it. And we have a lot of opportunities to do so here in Iceland, especially with the receding glaciers.
The tourists must love this.
Oh man, yeah, they are definitely amazed.
The tourist boom turned Hawker Einarsson into a tour guide. He now spends his days out on the glaciers and inside these ice caves, which funnel all the water from the melting ice sheets out to sea. His business, Glacier Adventures, has replaced the old family farm.
So this was a cow farm?
Yeah, just 3 years ago, they used to milk up to 34 cows here every day, twice a day.
Is this better than milking cows?
It's different. We tell them a joke that now we milk tourists instead of cows.
Do they get a kick out of that?
Yeah, of course.
But Hawker is serious about making sure that when tourists, like Alyssa Zimmerman from Chicago, come here, they get more than just a stunning selfie.
You want to be able to kind of witness it with your own eyes instead of reading about it in a book or hearing about what was.
Hawker says his job is to make visitors get a deeper appreciation for how quickly the scenery in those photos is now changing.
We are able to influence them in a good way, like open their minds and send them home with some thoughts. So that's kind of how I see it, as an opportunity.
Turning a last chance into a first step in better understanding our changing planet. Ben Tracy, Iceland.
Coming up, it's the chance to see the inner hero. One couple is making that possible next on Mid-Morning. All right, we're back, everyone. It is the best part of Halloween, of course, next to the candy. Pictures of children in their costumes. So many children choose to become superheroes, if only for one night. Now, one couple is making sure that some young heroes have those memories to hang on to long after Halloween is over. Lee Cowan has that story.
But this is a total movie poster right there.
Yeah. Josh Rossi. He may not look like a caped crusader, but he does have a sidekick, a camera.
Usually I take about, 500 to 1,000 per kid.
And he has a superpower, too. His eye.
This is gonna work.
He can focus it with superhuman accuracy to turn this
Oh, whoa. Batman, are you Batman?
into this. All in a flash.
I thought it was just gonna be the photos that were cool, but they would put on the costumes and totally transform.
By day, Rossi is a commercial photographer in Salt Lake City. A few years back, he and his wife Roxana transformed their daughter into Wonder Woman, just for fun.
We sent it to a friend via Facebook Messenger, and that was it. He wasn't supposed to post it, he wasn't supposed to do anything.
But he did. And guess what?
The next morning, we got a call from People Magazine. They're like, hey, we want to feature this. We're like, whoa, what the heck?
Excited parents from Metropolis to Gotham started asking the Rossis to turn their kids into superheroes too. But one request stood out.
It was a mom that reached out to us and said, my daughter has cancer. She's the real Wonder Woman. Like, we'd love if you did a photo shoot of her.
And that's what clicked?
Yeah. So I started thinking, what if we went out and found the real superheroes in society?
You know when you have like a calling in life, like you feel like I was meant to do this?
How are you doing?
Good.
Ever since, they've been turning tiny people battling huge challenges.
One more and you're done.
Into the superheroes they really are.
Put your hand up like that. Yeah. Oh yeah, perfect.
Chloe McCarty, for example, is living with a severe cognitive impairment. And yet, as Wonder Woman,
yes, perfect.
She looked ferociously focused.
Chloe can sometimes be left in the background a little bit. She doesn't get looked at. So for her to have the experience of being the hero and being the one that's out in front is pretty cool.
Yeah, these are good.
8-year-old Bridger Penny can't walk or talk.
Work it, work it.
But as Superman, he seemed to fly.
He's Superman through and through. He is a superhero in every sense of the word.
Superman is a pretty popular choice. In 2017, Tegan Pettit became the Man of Steel, just one member of the Justice League Kids.
You're gonna be like floating in the air.
When he was born, his parents, Ryan and Britton, were told he had two options. He could fight, or...
And then the other option was to just go ahead and take him home and he would pass away that weekend. And, when you're faced with all those options and decisions and you just barely had a baby, it's pretty overwhelming.
Tegan fought through countless procedures. Justice League Kids went viral. Tegan was just 9 then.
Mom.
He's 13 now, and he still has that suit. as a reminder of a time when he stopped looking at his heart as his kryptonite and instead saw difference as power.
After that, I was like, oh yeah, my heart condition, it's cool. So it's kind of, instead of making me different in a bad way, kind of feels like after the Superman thing, it made me different in a cool way.
Oh, wait, we're missing the eyes. Wait.
All of this comes out of the Rosie's own pocket.
Yeah, good job.
The costumes alone can cost upwards of $1,500 a piece. They're all custom made for each kid. Their kindness isn't just for those who are suffering illness and disabilities either. In 2018, this shoot, featuring 15 kids dressed as the Avengers, was all about bullying.
I was getting bullied a lot.
Benson Bateman is Spider-Man, and a remarkable thing happened when he took his picture to school.
They were just like, wow, that's crazy, we're sorry, and just left me alone.
They really apologized. Wow.
Yep, lives changed by reimagining the way they see themselves.
That's crazy.
Aww.
Costumes don't always have to mask our real selves.
Look at you. He's touching it. Oh. That's you.
Sometimes, as the Rosies have shown, they can bring out our hearts, too.
People see these photos, they're like, what do the photos do? Like, you know, they're just photos. But I mean, they have like a deep impact, like emotional impact.
If we can help them forget about their disease, their illness for a few hours, you know, like, it's all worth it.
And we'll be right back to wrap things up. Stay with us. All right, be sure you stay connected with us. We always love to hear from you. We will see you back here next time.